ready, babe?
Yes!
You seem ready.
I'm hyped!
I'm hyped. Let's do it. What are the stages of game development? I want to make a video game, but how do I do it?
How do we do it?
How do you do, team? Good to see you and welcome. Thank you for hanging out with us. And we are chilling on twitch.tv/DechartGames. Thank you for being here with us with my lovely, beautiful wife.
I am the wife.
That's the wife, and I'm the man one. Today, anyway, what's going on? Damon Hex, how you doing? 33 months in a row.
Whoa,
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Doctor Who, can I say thank you for being here for 32 months?
Yes.
And can I also say thank you for the gorgeous win emote? Y'all want to check out this new animated win emote? When we win our predictions, some of y'all need a real chance to celebrate, so Doctor went ahead and got us that sparkly, confetti-filled win emote. That one Nord is back for 6 months in a row, hitting that streak on your 20th birthday. Happy birthday, friend.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday. You win too, because it's your day. Team, we've got an awesome article from g2.com about game development that our moderators are going to share with all of your fine selves in the chat. And I'm going to pull it up here on the screen for us. And a little quick heads up that next Tuesday, Amelia and I will be off air because we're doing a special stream with the Crown Channel the day before Monday. Mm-hmm. And we'll keep you guys posted about that one. We're going to be checking out a new game called Lost Ark, or rather a Western access to an existing game called Lost Ark. And Amelia and I are going to be guests on a show called The Lore of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
We're pretty stoked about it, and we're grateful that you all can be with us. But at the end of the stream today, we will pull a subject that we'll study not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. Also, a shout out to all of our YouTube videos. We've got a bunch of our past streams up on there. If you would like to check out any of our previous Curiosity shows, those have been uploaded onto our YouTube.
Sweet. Oh, it's Vices and Disco's birthday as well.
Ooh, look
birthday
at that.
twins.
Look at that. I need a birthday button. We need something to do. We need some celebration. Team, I'm going to put up some emotes on screen real quick. Can you all help me celebrate these awesome birthday individuals with some emotes?
Yeah.
Cover the screen with emotes, team, if you would be so kind.
You're winning. It's your birthday.
You're winning. It's your birthday. Celebration. Happy little faces. Look at it. Hugs and a little bashful looking Connor. Black Knight 5150. Welcome back for 16 months, my friend.
And Bad Sapphire Wolf 94. Welcome back for 30 months. We're so grateful you're here.
Thank you, thank you. I see Goblin Queen cheering with Ronan of Skyrim. Oh, curious about this. Your little brother is studying game design at university. That's awesome. Do you have anybody else who is perhaps an expert more than we in the stages of game development? Feel free to chime in if you have experience with this kind of stuff, if it's what you're studying. And I hope through the interwebs we've lured some game developers here with us. So feel free to chime in, my friends.
Yes.
These are the 7 stages of game development, according to g2.com. We did find several other articles that were all pretty similar, and this one seemed to be the most comprehensive and had some visual aids. So surely every video game is different, and every process is different for every person who's making a video game, but this is a good jumping off spot. Also worth mentioning that Amelia and I are building a video game.
Yes.
you want to tease them a little bit with that, babe?
I'm here to tease you that Bryan and I are developing a video game. It will be a branching narrative where your choices matter. And we're very excited because we're doing these game clubs, Dechart Games Clubs, where we're talking about our favorite games that we've played together on stream. And we want to know what makes them so special. So if you love these games, our goal is to get in depth and talk about what makes them so unique and so special, because we want to take some of that and bring it into our game.
Yeah, and this very Friday, we're discussing one of our favorite games we've played many times on stream, Until Dawn. We're going to discuss on this Friday, February 4th at 2 p.m. Pacific, or rather 4 hours later than whatever time it is for you right now. We're going to continue the trend with February 18th's review of Horizon Zero Dawn before we start playing Horizon Forbidden West on September 20th. Happy September, everyone. And March 4th, we're going to do the same thing, but for the Life is Strange series.
Yes. Also, Damon, thank you so much for the gift sub group hug.
Thank you, Damon. Hugs. A big ol' hug to you. We appreciate you greatly, and thank you, everybody, for being with us. We're very grateful for you hanging out with us. And let's do it. Babette T, welcome back for 8 months. Let's get into the 7 stages of game development.
Most people who design and build video games for a living will tell you that game development is never as pretty as planned. Impending deadlines, bottlenecks in production, pressure from video game publishers, and endless work weeks are just few of the many challenges that arise during the development cycle. However, the brave few that go into game development are aware of the culture and its habits of testing one's grit and determination, but the drive to produce video games that look, feel, and play beautifully is what keeps them going. Many aren't aware of this cycle of madness and the many stages, so we are here to shed some light on game development. Here are the 7 stages of game development.
Scroll that page. Oh, that was exciting.
Yeah.
What are the 7 stages of game development? Well, video game development is chaotic in nature, just like me. There are still structures and frameworks in places to keep studios running efficiently and projects on track to be completed. The stages of game development go as follows. Number 1, planning. Number 2, pre-production. Number 3, production. Number 4, testing. Number 5, pre-launch. Number 6, launch. And number 7, post-production. So we're going to get into all of these categories one by one by one. And JD, what's up? Thank you for your kind message. And Ronan of Skyrim, thank you for these cheers. That's amazing. I'm glad you're excited to talk about Until Dawn with us. We're gonna get into all of these branching narrative games we love the most, and we had a lot of fun doing the Detroit Become Human and Resident Evil games clubs. If you'd like to check those out, they are up on YouTube right now. Detroit is up, and I believe tomorrow, or is it even today, that the Resident Evil will be going up.
All right.
Planning. What are we building? What is our budget? Who is the audience? And which platform will it be on? Well, I mean, what are we building? We're building a branching narrative game. And what is our budget? We don't know yet. That seems to be a big question. I've seen a lot of different kind of tiers of video games being produced. Amelia and I learned when we studied this a little bit on our own extracurricularly, the difference between an indie game and a AAA game. Has anybody ever heard of a AAA
Triple
game?
I and then a AAA
compared
game.
to a AAA game. So big games that are produced, often published in association with large video game companies like PlayStation or Xbox themselves, could be considered a AAA game, meaning that they have a good amount of money coming at them from the publishers or the the platform, the console on which it's being produced for. A lot of pretty much all exclusives, I guess, would be considered a AAA game because they have a good amount of funding behind them. A AAA game is apparently an independent game that is a budget of over $1 million.
Yes.
And a true indie game, I guess, according to this definition, is a video game produced under $1 million.
Yes.
So I quite candidly, I've never seen $1 million in my life before, and the idea of saying we're going to make a video game that cost $1 million sounds pretty bold, but hey, if we can pull it off, that'd be amazing. But I definitely think our first video game, and most first video games are considered indie games, unless you're publishing it with a console or a publisher already from the beginning.
Amy Versus.
Hey, what's going on?
Thank you very much for the gift subgroup. Hi.
Thank you. I have literally no idea about the production budgets of most video games.
Yeah, it's hard to find.
Literally no one is going to tell me that. And fun fact for anyone curious about video game development, apparently one of the process points is to keep the actors completely in the dark sometimes.
Not necessarily. It depends on the production.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Amelia would like to read pre-production.
Pre-production is all about storyboarding and storytelling. We're going to ask about the technological capabilities, early prototyping, and milestone scheduling.
Okay. So storyboarding and storytelling often are used also in video, besides video games, in commercials and television shows and movies. And a storyboard is a drawn out version of what the camera would see or what the animators would include in the frame. That also kind of looks a little bit like a comic book version of the eventual filmed or animated production. The technological capabilities would include what kinds of game mechanics are you going to be involving? What is the console itself capable of, or the game engine itself capable of.
Do you have to build a new game engine? Are you going to use one that's already existing?
Yeah, one thing I do know about the Quantic games, are each done in a different game engine. So they had to develop a unique engine just to be able to create Detroit Become Human. And this is the case for a lot of video games where you're basically reinventing the wheel each time because, it's going to do something unique, different. Moving on to stage 3, production. You got modeling, designing, audio and visual effects, the physics and mechanics, developing and rendering. Moving down here, next phase.
We got the testing phase. Testing phase, where we will identify bugs and feature exploitation. Then, is the game easy or is it too hard? Is this game even fun to play?
I think that's super important. That the game would be fun to play, but I could totally understand how it might not be. Like, we were working actually when we were discussing our Golden Spiral campaign with our good friend Melissa, who some of you have met on stream. As we were talking about the original story idea, she was just kind of like, yeah, but it could be like more fun. And we're like, you're right. You're actually really right. That was we're really like highly kind of political and philosophical, and at the end of the day, a game's got to be fun, right?
Yes.
So moving into pre-launch, we're talking about the alpha and beta releases of a game. Has anybody ever been a beta tester or played a game before it was officially released? Sometimes with big games like MMORPGs, there will be closed betas where there's certain periods of time that all the people who have signed up to test the game out, they're able to explore it, and this is kind of where they can discover where there are hitches in the entire project. And this is a little bit of a kind of a rough draft or a test screening of types. You got marketing hype and pre-launch. That's important. You can all feel it when you get into the phases of marketing hype, where all the posts you see from all the various video game journalists and stuff. Amelia, stop looking at me like I'm saying something wrong. I'm just speaking. Sorry, I'm not reading, but I'm just speaking off the top of my head. That you can tell when we're in the marketing hype phase for an upcoming game because it's literally all around you. So February has a lot of new games being released. Is there a game in particular that you all are excited for that's coming out in February that you can feel the marketing hype surround you? We also have gaming conventions, which is a fun thing that Amelia and I have got to participate in person. We've gone to a lot of different gaming conventions where you can have an experience to play some things like hands-on demos. Sometimes they show demos of the game behind closed doors just to journalists. And we have independent advertising. Moving forward to purple.
Then we have the launch, where you have to do some major bug squashing, some minor bug squashing, polishing, and then prepare for the master release. And then finally, post-production, where you squash some more bugs, maybe some game patching, game balancing, and if you want to get any new content out there, like DLCs.
Ooh, cool. Or the next season of the game, for instance. Calendria, thank you very much for the cheers. And Acrylic Heart, thank you for being here for 13 months. Appreciate you. Thank you for being with us. And Jersey B, thank you for the gift sub to Lockable Tie. Appreciate you. Sorry, team. We've got a weed whacker type situation outside, and there's loud buzzing. I hope you all can't hear it, or it's not too loud. All right, let's get back to the topic, get a little bit more in depth now that we have an overview. Amelia, you want to take planning a video game?
Sure. So the stage 1 is planning a video game. Before the writers begin writing, and the designers begin designing, and the developers begin developing, an idea for a video game has to surface. This is the very first part of the planning stage and the root that every video game will grow from. In the planning stage, the most basic questions will need to be answered, like, what type of video game are we producing? Will it be 2D or 3D? What are some of the key features it must have? Who are its characters? When and where does it take place? Who is our target audience? And which platform are we building this on? It may not seem like it, but ideating a video game is one of the hardest parts of game development. The idea a gaming studio comes up with will serve as the backbone of the entire game. It's what sets the standard for every employee involved with building the game, but also gives publishers a high-level overview of what to expect. This brings us to the next part of development, proofing a concept. A proof of concept takes all the ideas that have been generated and sees how viable they are for a gaming studio to produce. From there, additional questions will need to be answered, like what is our estimated cost to develop this game? Do we have the technological capabilities to build it? Will we require a new gaming engine? How big will our team need to be? Are we hiring external voice actors and writers? What is our estimated time frame for launch? And how are we monetizing it? Hint, loot boxes are probably not the best way.
NFTs neither. For studios that are building a game under the umbrella or a publisher, proofing is required to move forward with pre-production and may even require a vertical slice. This is because the publisher will want to approve a pitch for time, budget, and marketing. For independent studios without publisher oversight, there's a bit more flexibility during this phase. The downside to independent publishing is establishing a development and marketing budget, although crowdfunding websites like Kickstarter and Fig come in handy. Has anybody participated in a crowdfunding campaign for a video game? Sometimes you're pre-ordering the game before it's even been released or fully developed. That's one way that a community can help build a game. As a matter of fact, successful games like Pillars of Eternity and Shovel Knight were completely crowdfunded. Anybody played Pillars of Eternity or Shovel Knight? I'm curious. Whichever route you take, a proof of concept is vital to the success of a game because it puts ideas in the perspective of what is capable. Now it's time to begin pre-production.
So, first phase, what do y'all think?
Yeah, overview.
Is
planning phase. How do you feel about planning things?
I like planning. I I like to answer questions and come up with an overall view of what the the project is and how we want to attack it. So I love to plan. I like to plan.
All right. Well, once we've got a plan and we have some idea of what we're building, what the budget is, who's the audience, and what platform would it be on, we're good to move into pre-production. Pre-production. The next stage of game development, called pre-production, brainstorms how to give life to the many ideas laid out in the planning phase. This is where writers, artists, designers, developers, engineers, project leads, and other crucial departments collaborate on the scope of the video game and where each piece of the puzzle fits. A few examples of this collaboration may look like, because every video game is different, writers meeting with the project leads to flesh out the narrative of the story. Who are the main characters in this tale? What are their backstories? How does each character relate to one another? Are there loose ends we'll tie up later? Engineers meeting with writers, letting them know that under the current technological constraints, we can't fill that environment with 100 characters or the game will crash. So what is technically possible outside of the narrative elements of the game? Artists meeting with the designers to ensure visuals, color palettes, and art styles are consistent and aligned with what was laid out in the planning phase. Developers meeting with engineers to flesh out all of the in-game mechanics, physics, and how objects will render on a player's screen. Project leads meeting with multiple departments to figure out the fun factor, which you'll find out later isn't easy to pinpoint until the testing phase. So here's an example of some, we've got some storyboards here of a scene laid out. Looks a little bit like a comic book, right? That's a way to have a two-dimensional representation of what we're going to build inside of the game. From here, it's common for studios to prototype characters, environments, interfaces, control schemes, and other in-game elements to see how they look, feel, and interact with one another. This is essentially the let's see what we're working with moment before moving on to the bread and butter of development, which is production. Ooh, and Stella Rosa is saying, game writing is my new dream job, literally working on Twine right now.
Ooh, cool.
Hey, if you like Twine, there's also an awesome program called Arcweave that I would really recommend. I've started tinkering with it, and it's a really cool tool for exploring how to put together a branching narrative or dialogue choices in a game. It's free to use or free to try out. It's like a free trial version of it that you can tinker with. And I had a lot of fun playing with it, and I will continue to explore it more. So it might be something that those of you who are on stream with us want to check out. We could even peep it at the very end of the stream, perhaps.
Hey, Ninja Noodles 27, welcome back for 38 months. My goodness.
Wow.
And Ashley Pixie 5 is back for 37 months.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Nugget 3582 is back for 11, and Kimmy Hazard back for 44 months.
Welcome back, Kimmy Hazard. Let's get a little mod love. Can I see some mod love on the screen? Thank you, mods.
Love.
Appreciate you, team. Thank you for hanging out with us, my good friends. All right, Amelia Rose. Crush it on production.
Most of the time, effort, and resources spent on developing video games are during the production stage. This also happens to be the most challenging stage of video game development. During this process, character models are designed, rendered, and iterated to look exactly how they should look in the story. Audio design works tirelessly to ensure every time your character steps onto sand, gravel, or cement, it sounds authentic. Level designers craft environments that are dynamic, immersive, and suitable for many types of play styles. Voice actors read large stacks of scripts or small stacks of scripts, depending on the game. Doing take after take or just a couple takes depending on the time to get the right emotion, timing, and tone. Developers write thousands of lines of source code to bring each piece of in-game content to life. Project leads establish milestones and sprint schedules, ensuring each department and its team members are held accountable. This is especially important if a publisher regularly checks in on status updates.
These events and many more can take years of iterating to get right, and that's assuming only a few changes are made along the way, which is hardly the reality. In video game development, it is not uncommon for entire segments of a game, months of work, to get scrapped after it's completed. You can imagine how frustrating this is for the employees involved. These types of changes are typically brought up in the testing phase. All right, team, we're moving forward to the testing phase. Phase number 4. And again, disclaimer, every video game is different and every developer is different. So this is just one of the main paths through developing a game or designing a game. Every feature and mechanic in the game needs to be tested for quality control. A game that hasn't been thoroughly tested as a game that's not even ready for an alpha release. Here are some things a playtester may point out during this stage. Has anybody been a playtester officially working as a QA tester on video games? Because that is a really fascinating job to me. Sign me up, maybe? I think that would be really cool to get to see some games, especially as they're being developed. You know, what are the ideas that don't make it through all the way? Mm-hmm. So in testing, we are going to find out, are there buggy areas or levels?
Is everything rendering on screen? Is a character missing a face?
Yeah, maybe a character's missing a face. That'd be a real bummer.
Are their bodies backwards?
Can I walk through this wall or a locked environment?
Are there features that I can use to exploit the game, like little loopholes to get around?
Does my character get permanently stuck in this spot? Sometimes that'll happen.
Is the character dialogue stale or boring? Making sure that it's exciting and that it pushes the player along.
There are even different types of playtesters. Some playtesters conduct stress tests by running into walls hundreds, if not thousands of times in an attempt to break the game. I think I'd be pretty good at that one. Other playtesters conduct the fun factor test to see if the game is too hard or too easy, and complete the entire game to see if it was satisfying enough. Without a fun factor, the game won't sell many copies. Are there any games that are truly beloved to you that you don't think are actually fun? Or is fun an absolute requirement for a video game? I'm curious, and I'm genuinely asking this question. Is there a game that's not fun, but you still like it?
Also, there's many different types of fun. You know, there's some games that I find fun because of the the story and how I get to act as a director essentially in creating my own story. Other games are really fun because it's all about precision and technique, and so it depends on the type of game. There's many
what's your type of fun? I think a lot of the ones you all seem to be mentioning, I think it might be like the content, the subject matter might not necessarily categorically be fun for you. Some things are too dark for some people's taste, and other people absolutely love a dark and spooky game. Number 5, pre-launch.
The pre-launch stage is a stressful time for gaming studios. Questions of self-doubt may seep in as you wonder how the public will react to your first functional product. This also could happen earlier, and maybe throughout. Will they think our game is fun? Are they going to find new bugs? What sort of media coverage are we going to get from this? But before a formal beta copy is released, the game will require some marketing. After all, how else will people learn about it? Publishers almost always expect a hype video with a mix of cinematics and a sample gameplay to drive attention. They may also schedule a spot at a major gaming convention like E3 or PAX for an exclusive preview of the game.
Oh, I love an exclusive preview of a game. If I could check it out, that'd be all right. Well, let's move it down here. Independent studios don't always have the luxury of hefty marketing budgets to drive attention to their games, but fortunately, crowdfunding and advertising could be just as fruitful. Sending early access beta copies to top online gaming personalities so they can live stream to their audience is a common method for independent studios. Number 6, launch. The finish line is near. The light is at the end of the tunnel. Launch day is on the horizon. The months leading up to a game's anticipated launch date are mostly spent squashing large backlogs of bugs, some old, some new found in the testing phase. For games with many bugs, a studio will create a hierarchy of bugs to squash. This hierarchy will include game-crashing bugs near the top and minor bugs near the bottom. Speaking of bugs, and speaking of our curiosity chills, Jonathan Van Ness has an awesome TV show on Netflix that was based on a podcast, and it's called Curious?
Getting Curious.
Getting Curious. Super recommend it. The first episode on there is about bugs. Are they gross or are they gorgeous? Gross!
Gorgeous.
I love it. Okay. In addition to squashing these bugs, developers will typically polish the game as much as possible before it launches. Maybe that mountain range can have more depth. Perhaps the characters' leather straps can be more textured. Let's finally get around to making those trees sway in the wind. These types of changes, though minor, can be important for making a video game more immersive. When the game is squeaky clean, it's time to launch and distribute.
Post-launch. Post-launch is one of the most exciting times for any gaming studio. Years of hard work have finally paid off, and video game sales are hopefully pouring in. But even now, there is still work to be done. It's not uncommon for games to launch with batches of minor bugs. The first few months during the post-launch stage are typically spent identifying and squashing these bugs. Gaming studios also rely on players to submit bug reports or speak up about bugs in online forums. This is also part of post-launch support. Another part of post-launch is to provide regular software updates for the game. These updates range from game balancing patches to new downloadable content, or DLCs. Releasing fresh content is common in today's gaming industry because it increases the replay value and appeal of a game. New levels, storylines, and multiplayer modes are just a few of the many DLC options a gaming studio could explore.
I'm curious, what's the greatest DLC you've ever played? What's something that came out as part of the post-launch of a video game that you really, really enjoyed? Not all games are created equal. Video game development is a whirlwind process, even for the most seasoned gaming studios with hundreds of employees. But understanding the ebbs and flows of each stage is crucial to building a game that is thorough and polished. It is also important to realize that no two games are created equal, even from the same studio. In game development, roadblocks are inevitable. Deadlines will be missed, and tools will have their limitations. This is the nature of the industry, and it's why having leads and directors who can right the ship it separates, right the ship is what okay, it's a strange sentence. Anyway, having good leads and directors can right the ship, meaning put the project back on course. That's what separates good studios from the great ones, regardless of company size. If you're interested in building a video game, or you want to polish your skill sets to join a studio, you could look into today's best programming languages for games. There's another article link here. We ask 3 experts for their insight on casual indies, mobile games, and AAA titles. Nice. So I'd be interested, just a real quick, let's see if it gives us This is a cool, I see Unity Engine is getting some love. I'm going to share this link with you all in the chat if you'd like to read on about it. I'm not going to read this all in detail, but it may be more applicable to some of you who are exploring this on your own.
Sweet.
Stella Rosa, thank you for joining us. I saw your message about watching along on YouTube, and I'm glad you can be here with us now live on Twitch. And Fire Crystal Art, thank you for 40 months of support. Absolutely amazing.
Nice. And Tendies says that they want to be a game designer, so this was very helpful. I'm glad.
And thank you for the recommendation of The Art of Game Design book. That's very cool. I think we'll have to get ourselves a copy of that book.
Mm-hmm. To the library.
So, team, let me ask you this. Which of these stages of game development do you think would be easiest for you, the one that would come the most naturally, and which would be the most difficult? I think looking at this, I mean, I have really, the actual production of a video game, I think, is probably the area that I know the least about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if somebody gave me a game to test, I'd be able to handle it, but to just go from pre-production into production, to me, that seems like the most difficult area to get through. You think testing would be the easiest? Planning could be the easiest for you? For you, it's okay, all right, look at all these. I think between all of us, we have a game development studio here. Planning could be the most difficult for you. The testing would be the easiest. Production could be 100%. There you go. Pre-launch would be scary for you. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine working on this game for years and years and years and getting ready to let it out into the world?
I can.
Just remember to be nice to game developers when they release their game. Imagine how long they've been cooking that thing up for us.
Yeah.
So, if you guys are into it, for the next 10 minutes or so, I'd like to show off this Arcweave thing, because I think it could be kind of a cool tool that anybody here would be able to tinker with if it was interesting to them. A lot of the other tools I'm not as familiar with, but there's 2 that I have an idea about sharing.
Also, Toshter, welcome back for 10 months. Thank you so much for your support. We're glad you're here with us.
Welcome back. I'm going to share this link with the moderators who can continue to share it with you real quick. Drop it in the mod room. This website is called Arcweave, and it is an online gaming and narrative design tool. It has a free tutorial mode, and you can make, let's see, what does it say? 100 items in this list, and then you have to have an actual account with them. But for now, let's just explore what we can find here.
So this is a mock-up of an example that they've made of a game. So this is not ours. This is somebody else's.
This is a template to start off, so that you can get an idea. They've called this the castle. It's a board. You can create different boards. Some of them are boards like scene-by-scene boards, and some of them are for the dialogues. And I thought what could be kind of cool from the start is to look at how it's built, and then we can click through it. We're using Arcweave for mapping, for really mapping the game. Writing the game itself is a little bit more abstract, but this is a way to get it into a tangible form you can share with other people. Welcome to Arcweave. You can double click on any empty spot in the workspace to create an element. So here's an element like this. We can give it a title. Hi, team. And we can give it some content. This is the team. We can also add images and things like they've done here in their example outside Castle Morningstar. Then you can use these Monseigneur. Then you can use these click and drag arrows, which will connect to other potential paths. So here at the castle, we can go to the castle courtyard or back, as you can see mapped out like this. And then there are some paths that you might choose. You could choose to either enter the house or follow the path north, or go back to the castle courtyard. So as you can see, each of these different blocks represents a different element in the game, a different location, which has been assigned an image, a title, and some description for the player to read. Then, if we get deeper in, we have some options inside of each of these rooms, exploring the small house, or if we go down the stone passageway, we find our way to a crusader, and the crusader has some dialogue options. So now that you can see just a very, very basic example of clicking through element to element, on this, there's also a little star on one of these, which if we click left click on it, we can choose to remove play start mode or to set play start mode. So when we hit the play button, it's going to start with the cell that is based over this element. So I'm going to click play. And here we go into the template built up by Arcweave to demonstrate how this works. You just arrived at Castle Monseigneur, pronounced Morningstar. Your uncle's home for the past 20 years. The tone of his letter was desperate, urgently asking for your help. Worried, you quickly packed your suitcase and took the first plane. Faint bird sounds break the eerie silence and pale mist engulfs the castle hill. To the north, you can see the castle entrance. So in this case, I need to shrink the page a little bit so you all can see it. There we go. Enter the castle. So this is one of those little branches that we clicked on. Will take us to the next page. You stand in a small courtyard. Everything is unusually silent here. The path leads you further to the north. An abandoned house lies to your left. Would you, team, like to follow the path north, enter the house, or exit the castle? I'm going to go with the first reply. Whoever's fastest in the chats. Let's see it. There we go. We're going to the house. All right, Kai, go into the house. Enter the house.
The interior looks more like an artist's studio than a house. A few abstract paintings lie scattered around. One of the painting depicts a strange figure, a knight dressed in white with a red cross on his chest. Do you want to examine the painting or go back to the castle?
Examine the painting! We're going to examine the painting.
Examine the painting.
All right, Kimmy, here it is. We examine the painting.
The knight is guarding a mysterious gate. You see a name written above his head. Conrad. Conrad the Fourth, Count of Exeter. You make a mental note of the knight's name.
All right, let's step back from this painting, having made a mental note. So now we're back here. We can exit to the courtyard in this simple example. And now that we are come back to the courtyard, I'm going to follow the path north. We follow the path north to a stone passage. The sound of dripping water is echoing in the distance. You feel uneasy. Uneasy.
Do we walk further down the path into the uneasiness, or do we go back to the castle courtyard?
This is a simple example. We'll do the thing we haven't done. Further down we go, I say, further down.
You reach a wooden door. In front of you stands a strange man, dressed as a medieval crusader. Do we talk to the man, or do we run back to the stone passage?
Talk to the man!
Let's talk to the man. The man looks at you suspiciously and tightens his sword grip. He speaks in a deep voice.
What do you want, stranger?
Do we say, can I pass, or tell him we'll come back later?
Let's ask him, can I pass? Okay, let's do it. Can I pass?
Yeah, let's pass.
Only he who knows my name shall pass.
Well, we remember the name on the painting, Conrad the Fourth, Count of Exeter.
Or
do we try and run past him?
Do we try to run past him? Or do we say we'll come back later? What do you think, team? You want to run past him? Okay, Monday was quickest to say it. We're going to try to run past the knight with his sword. And as you try to run past him, he swiftly grabs you by the neck. You fight for freedom, but his grip is inhumanly strong. You drift into unconsciousness. Alas, you did not manage to find what lies behind the ominous door. No! Oh, womp womp. So, I'm going to restart this real quick, but just to give you an idea, as we look over, this is where we started off, right? We can move, we draw these little arrows by clicking and dragging from the edge to the next frame. You can title these different components, so it gives us a simple flow. We went into the house, and as we examined the painting, we have a new variable here. This says if painting is examined, then you make a mental note of the knight's name. If painting is not examined, this variable you've defined as being true, then when you go into the conversation with the Crusader, you don't have that dialogue piece available to you. But instead of trying to run from the man, we are going to talk to the man and have a different outcome this time. Drop into play. We're going to enter the castle. We're going to follow the path north first, just to show how this works. Walk further down the path. We talk to the man. He says, you have to, what do you want? We say we want to pass. Who knows my name? I don't know your name, so I'm going to come back later. So now we backpedal to the courtyard. We go into the little house. We examine the painting. We get the note, mental note, Conrad IV is the count. Step back to the courtyard. Follow the path, all the way down the eerie path that makes us feel uneasy. We talk to the man who says, what do you want, stranger?
Can I pass?
Only he who knows my name shall pass.
We remember Conrad IV, Count of Exeter?
All right, we're not going to run past him this time. We know what happens there. We're going to tell him, you're Conrad.
In the blink of an eye, the Crusader disappears, almost as if he was never there. Curious.
Ooh, should we open the door?
Of course.
The end. Congrats! You finished the example project. Now try to make your own interactive experience. If you'd like, you can get help with clicking on the docs, or they have a Discord as well. So what I think is super cool about how this all works is that you can build out your own elements, and every time you add another element, the title of the various passageways that you would go to or to the house appears in this elements block. And so you could see how this tool would be very useful building up your own paths to your own branching game. So without titling anything, you can see how simple it is to create these different cases, and it would be possible for multiple cases that cross paths with certain locations and so on and so on. It's very much like building your own choose adventure book. Yes. Yes. So I just want to throw this out there. If anybody wants to tinker with Arcweave, I think it's a really cool program. The fact that it's pretty easy to use, totally free for the first 100 slides, or you can upgrade and then you get unlimited spaces. But just to explore it, I've been having a lot of fun tinkering.
Yes, and Twine is another one that is very similar, and you could check that one out as well.
Yeah, Twine is a little more simple. I don't think it has image support in the same way. This is called twinery.org is their website. I'll drop it on here. You do have to, you can use it online. Okay, sweet. Use it online. And so here we are. We can import previous stories. And I haven't tinkered with this one as long because, candidly,
we like pictures.
I like pictures. But Twine is definitely a writing specific tool that's very, very similar. Arcweave, I think, came afterwards. So surely Arcweave owes something to Twine for showing them what's up.
Also, Amy Versus, welcome back for 21 months. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you. Like, whoa.
Well, you know what time it is right now. Pop quiz. That's where you share literally one thing that you learned on today's Curiosity Chill. We don't expect much, quite candidly. We just expect that you had a good time, and we are grateful for you all hanging out with us.
Yes.
So what did you learn? What did you learn today? You learned you shouldn't run by a dude with a sword.
Yep, that's good.
That's true. You learned about some 7 stages of game design.
About squashing bugs. You learned about Arcweave. That it takes lots and lots of planning to make a video game, that's for sure. It is very complex. There are 7 stages that, can vary depending on what type of game, but essentially 7 stages. Yeah, and releasing patches. Cookies are good bribery tools. That's true. Never heard of proof of concept before.
Yeah, proof of concept is also applicable to any other kind of business venture that you're going for. It's basically you saying, look, here, I have one that works. We could make more, is basically what's happening.
This is my plan. You didn't know what a AAA game was, a AAA game was until now.
Neither had I until researching that we're making a game. Yeah, that we are. We are looking to make a game.
Indie games are those with a budget under $1 million. Yeah, cool.
Right on. There's so much more that we could possibly learn about, but Curiosity Chill is not here to make us experts. It is here to get us overall exposure to a new concept.
To get us curious.
So we're definitely not experts on frogs, but I know some weird things about frogs, etc. So if anybody wants to recommend a topic for our next Curiosity Chill, which will be not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, as Amelia and I are going to be stepping aside to do a project with the Crown Channel and a video game called Lost Ark on next Monday.
Yeah. So what are you curious to learn about next time we meet for Curiosity Chill?
Yeah, let's do a poll.
Let me look at okay, so it will be on Tuesday, February 15th.
Oh, the day after Valentine's. Yes. Whales! Raccoons!
Fashion through the decades.
Black History Month!
Yes. Mummies.
Oh, man. Fashion history, right? We did talk about that one last time.
Yes.
History of fashion through the decades. I'm going to go with these top 5 here. Let me know. Next Tuesday, or not next Tuesday, but next Curiosity Chill, which is Tuesday, February 15th. What shall we study? Number 1 on the chat for whales. Number 2, raccoons. Number 3, Black History Month. It is, by the way, Black History Month. We have 4, mummies. And number 5, fashion history. Let us know what you got, team. Appreciate you hanging out with us. And Re3, thank you very much for the cheers, saying game development is so interesting. I'm glad you enjoyed this, Re. Thank you for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. All right, that is a clear and obvious choice. It makes good sense to me as well. We will study Black History Month on next Curiosity Chill, which will be February 15th. Right on. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. There is something that's loaded up here that I would like to show you real quick. This is another tool that I have found online that is free to use. You have to request access, but this is with Unreal Engine, and it is their Metahuman creator. And if you like to make characters in video game character creation, you may like spending, a long time on this. We can take any of these characters here. As you see, these are some of the stock ones and some ones that I have made using different combinations. Like this guy's kind of a Vannevar looking dude. Let me see if it'll let me load him up. Here we go. Yeah, look at this. So edit selected. So I made this Vannevar looking dude. It's a lot like The Sims for sure. You can get into so many different details, but what's amazing about it is this program is free to use, and you can make adjustments with these models just like you would do in a character creator, but it's so detailed. You can get into the iris colors. We can go to so many variables. This thing is absolutely insane with how much detail there is, and you can change even the iris. It's what? To me, this is nuts. And then you can export these models into Unreal Engine to use in your game. I'm gonna pause the dude there. But anyway, you all can see how long you can spend exploring Metahuman Engine. But there's some base things when it comes to clothes. Obviously, you can load in your own textures or things. There's some basic body types and so on. And the real detail comes in with the face modeling. Let me see if I can go to the sculpt thing, and I'm gonna go to his face. It's loading a little slower because we're also streaming, because this is a pretty graphics heavy situation here. Let me see. Pause. Well, you guys can tinker with it on your own. I think I'm on the wrong screen. That's why. So here we go. Look at this. We can like change our nose. Can you rotate the dude? But like you can take all of these little points and make the smallest adjustments to build out your character. And for me, this is the fact that this is available like to someone like me who has absolutely no experience building a character in 3 dimensions. It's just a really, really cool tool. So I did spend a long time on it, but isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I'm so amazed. And this is called the Metahuman Creator. It's with Unreal Engine. But I mean, ear positioning. I mean, look at this. And this is all in a browser, team. This isn't even downloaded or installed on my computer. This is just, in the browser, like in Firefox. But yeah, you could do likenesses, I'm sure. But the coolest thing is that you can create all these different characters, and you can even blend them together. So you can say, what if I had these 3 faces as inspiration? I can choose these different categories and say, okay, when it comes to their makeup, the blend, here we go. I can make adjustment. Hold on, how do I do this? It's been a while since I tinkered with this. You can basically take the aspects of these different characters and then scale it up and down towards the different likenesses. So if you wanted to like build a family that had shared features, or if you had something that really worked that you wanted to copy into another character. Anyway, I could literally do this and make these little adjustments for all day, and I'm not going to do that. But yes, Metahuman Creator with Unreal Engine.
Sweet.
Fluffy Jenna, thank you for being here for 18 months in a row. And thank you to our awesome mod team. Thank you again, team. We're grateful for you hanging out with us.
Oh, yes.
And a reminder that our next stream is going to be Until Dawn on Friday. We're going to be doing our
Dechart Games Club, talking all about Until Dawn, what makes it so special, what parts do we like, what parts do we not like. So come talk with us.
Yeah.
On Friday.
On Friday. Let's do it, team. All right, we have a raid planned out for you. Thank you to our awesome mod teams who found Sutherland Handmade, who is sculpting a cool clay elephant. Ooh. So let's go keep the creative vibes going, team. Thank you for hanging out with us. We really appreciate your support on the stream. And Miss Okami. Thank you for the big hug.
Oh, thank you very much, friend.
Sending a big hug right back to you. And thank you all for being here with us. We will not be doing a bonus stream today, just for clarity, for anybody who's hanging around. Sometimes we do those on Tuesdays especially, so make sure you got your notifications turned on. More likely we're able to do one next week. Our next stream will be on Friday, and then our finale of Mass Effect will be on Saturday and on Sunday. We're going to be playing from noon to 3, normal stream times on Sunday, and playing the very final phases of the 3rd game in the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready for a raid, my friends?
Yes.
I'm ready. Let's get it going. My name is Bryan.
My name's Amelia.
And this is our Twitch. We are grateful for your company, friends. Thank you all for hanging out with us today. Thank you for your support, and we will see you on a stream again soon. Oh, Kamina, how you doing? Welcome back. 44 months. Saying bye, everybody. Bye. Let's get going on this raid. 3, 2, 1, raid!